If you shower or brush your teeth or try to make your hair look presentable, here's some good news. Dollar Shave Club has a lot of stuff to help you out. Dollar Shave Club delivers everything you need to look, feel, and smell your best. Shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, hair gel, even a wipe that leaves your tush feeling tingly clean. All of Dollar Shave Club's products are made with top-shelf ingredients that won't break your budget. You'll feel the difference. Plus, shipping is free with your membership. And here's a great way to try a bunch of Dollar Shave Club's products for just $5. You can get their Daily Essential Starter Set. It comes with Body Cleanser, One Wipe Charlie's, their amazing butt wipes, and their world-famous shave butter. And their best razor, the 6-Blade Executive. Keep the blades coming for a few more bucks a month and add in a shampoo, toothpaste, or anything else you need. Check it all out at dollarshaveclub.com/Chad. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Chad.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This president has radicalized so many more people than ISIS ever did.
As the biggest terror threat in this country is white men.
Trump has delivered. He has delivered racism for these people. He has delivered misogyny for these people.
The same type of propaganda that you would have seen in Germany in 1938. His ignorance could pose a profound danger to every single person in this country and literally every inhabitant of the planet Earth.
The president's obviously a racist. He's obviously a demagogue. He obviously condones anti-Semitism, stokes up nationalist hate. And what Trump has tapped into is evil.
This moral monster is playing to those base instincts.
It's not minimally human behavior.
There's no way that he's going to prevail because he's evil. He's dark. It's the opposite of what America stands for.
This has now become a struggle about good versus evil. And the president of the United States is evil.
Is that insanity? Right? Happy Halloween, everybody. Is that insanity? Talk about scared. Talk about fear-mongering. There's not a monster out there. I'm terrified. I don't know who you're talking about. I'm terrified. Who's evil? Who's coming after us? Who is it? Where's Donald Pleasance? We need him. He's evil. That is I just... Remember, in the world that we live in, right? You've got to create the other side because you are the dragon slayer. There was a movie that came out several years ago with the late Heath Ledger, and I think Matt Damon was in it as well. I think it was the Grimm brothers, if I'm correct. And what they did is they were essentially monster hunters, and they knew there wasn't really any monsters. What they would do is create monsters, go into villages. It's like set in the, like the 15th century or whatever. They go into villages and say, look, there's this monster, and he's terrorizing everybody. So you need to hire us to slay the monster. And they'd be like, oh, and they would pay him. And then they go, we caught the monster. That's what you have to do in politics. When you hear stuff like this, when you hear asinine things like this.
This president has radicalized so many more people than ISIS ever did. I mean, the way he talks, the way he
it's
the way he talks, the way he winks and nods to these groups, the way he says, I know I'm not supposed to say it, but I'm a nationalist, the way that he hems and haws when he has to condemn these people.
For you not to push back on that, you're about to push back. That's irresponsible. For her to say that the president of the United States has radicalized more people than ISIS is irresponsible.
Yeah, it is. But you're not going to get noticed if you don't say insane things like this. You have to. Our president may be the leader of the Ku Klux Klan. I don't know. But what I do know is now I'm going to get retweeted. Somebody's going to click on me. Here we go. Does that help anybody? Does it? Does that further any conversation? No. Is it an asinine thing to say? Absolutely. Welcome to the world we live in, though. And for you white men out there,
I keep trying to point out to people not to demonize any one group or any one ethnicity, but we keep thinking that the biggest terror threat is something else. Some people who are marching, towards the border like it's imminent. So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
So, Producer Phil, I want some clarification here because I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. Readily, I would tell the people that. We're not going to demonize any group here because that's not right. Demonizing's horrible. We shouldn't do that. White men are the problem of everything.
Yeah, I was having an issue with that as well.
Okay, I needed a clarification. Sometimes I need a ruling. Let's listen to that again. So remember what he said. He's not demonizing anybody. He is.
I keep trying to point out to people not to demonize any one group or any one ethnicity, but we keep thinking that the biggest terror threat is something else. Some people who are marching, towards the border like it's imminent. So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
No, you want to know what the biggest threat is right now? The flu. 80,000 people will die this year because of the flu. It's not fun to talk about because you can't call the flu. Because the flu is, if you want true equality, it's the flu. Like, there's nothing more equal than the flu. Doesn't care if you're black or white, you're rich or poor, you're gay or straight. It doesn't care at all. If you get it, you get it. And for some people out there, they're going to end up losing 80,000 people. That's terrifying. Not 4,000 people marching here from Guatemala, right? Nah, that's not terrifying. It's annoying that our government has failed to do anything and that we continue to play this game of not fixing any of the problems because nobody will take anybody's trade-off, so we don't get to actually see any of these things somewhat move to a, hey, we're moving in a direction that's good. It's annoying. But the flu, what are you going to say about the flu? I'm here live. What do you think of the flu? I think the flu's racist. I think it's just the most racist thing I've ever seen. It is you know what? I think the flu is, well, it's not only problematic in the African-American community, but I do believe that white people have invented it. That's the only way you could talk about it. Coming out and saying, look, you need to get a flu shot because 80,000 people are going to die. 80,000. We're not going to talk about that, though. Right? We're not going to talk about that. He's radicalized more people than ISIS. Ladders kill more people than ISIS. We don't talk about ladders. Right? People are going to go into their bathtub today around this country, and some of them are not going to come out of their bathtub alive. They're going to slip. They're going to hit their head. Those are real. Those are real things. Real. I don't want to demonize anybody, though. But white people suck and they're awful. But wait, hold on here. It is, he's not done, old Don Lemon. He's got a lot to say. Remember, all you cisgender white males, and this is, by the way, Don, I'm going to let you in on something. When you say I don't want to demonize somebody, and then you go and demonize them, it's the reason that people are sick and tired of hearing BS like this. It really is. But he's not finished, kids.
We have to start doing something about them. There is no travel ban on them. There is no ban on, they have the Muslim ban. There is no white guy ban. So what do we do about that?
Do you want a white man ban? Oh, ban. I thought you said band. I'm sure there's a white man band out there. This is absolutely asinine. And here's the thing. This is what happens when we allow political correctness and all of this crap to roll in. You guys want to know why Donald Trump's in the White House? He's the answer to a lot of questions that people are afraid to answer out in the open. White guy, white gal at work thinks that the microaggressions and the cultural appropriations of a Halloween costume and how somebody gets fired for this or that, or sick and tired of all of this stuff and has to go around placating everybody with this BS, so they go along with it. And then when they do decide to speak up, it's not at the office. It's not at the school meeting. It's not at the soccer practice. It's not at any of these places. You know where it's at? It's the voting booth. The thing I can't say out there, I'm going to say in here. That's what happens. And then we got this crap, right? There's no white man ban. Ban us from what? Ban me. I don't care. I'm going to get on with my life. But if you want to talk about things that are really issues, let's do it. We've got a massive debt problem. Healthcare's so damn expensive up the wazoo. That's scary. We have 80,000 people that will die from the flu. 80,000. That's a lot of people. Like, those are numbers, like data and facts and stuff. Not some theory that's not been proven out. Those are real things. But for a guy on CNN to come out and say the problem is white men, and the sad thing is nobody's going, dude, come on, get your head out of your ass. Right? Stop just, you're blowing smoke up everybody's ass. This is crap. No. He won't say that. Nobody will say that there because they're terrified. They're terrified for the backlash on social media. They're terrified for everything else. Oh, my goodness me. They're all terrified. It's a bunch of BS. No, you want to know where there should be a ban? On stupid people, on ignorant people. Can't say that, though, right? That's not very nice. Who's with me on that? Yeah, everybody across the board. This is ridiculous. This is scary. And people are out there going, he's absolutely right. White guys are the worst people on earth. Dumbasses. And all those other people who are clapping, white guys and gals going, he's absolutely right. You guys are idiots too. Stop it. Enough of this crap. Everybody is jockeying for position to find out how much victimhood will get them. Right? Eric Weinstein, the guy from Evergreen, was it State or University, the professor that wouldn't leave when it's a day without a white guy or whatever. He called it the oppressed Olympics. Everybody's trying to find out who could become more oppressed and more oppressed. How much more can you break everything up? Because we don't really want equality. It's about equity, right? And what's the equity? The equity isn't equality. The equity is, we want you to get this, but we want extra. And everybody wants a little extra on their victimhood. It's time to grow up. You want us all to be Americans? Fantastic. Stop separating yourself. It's a joke. Happy Halloween! 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Welcome to the Alt-Middle, where solutions live and ignorance dies. The Chad Benson Show.
It's no trick we spend a lot on Halloween, maybe more than you plan to.
Collectively, we're looking to spend almost $10 billion now, and that boils down to roughly $100 per household.
Wallet Hub's Joe Gonzalez says you can teach your kids that you don't have to spend that much.
You can budget out and allocate candy just like you can do with money. So take the time to teach them a little about personal finance in the meantime.
Gonzalez says Halloween has become the third most expensive holiday in the U.S., just behind Christmas and Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and it's a real holiday, unlike that fake, made-up greeting card crappy Valentine's Day. This is real. Serious business. By the way, I'm dressed like a clown, and it's awesome. Been scaring people all day, and then in between, I have this giant, huge, fat head thing of Trump, and I put it on, and it's just a good time. I love Halloween. I do. And I was looking at this made me laugh, of these charts of what are the 5 most triggered costumes, the costumes that were going to essentially make people uncomfortable and or no longer PC. So you can't be a crazy psycho in a straitjacket anymore because somebody may have worn a straitjacket and you don't want to offend. Cultural stereotypes and appropriation, for the love of God. Don't even think about being Moana. Right, don't even think about that. So stay away from that. Body shaming and objectifying costumes. So the sumo wrestler, this is what made me laugh. I'm like, there's no way that they're like in the age of body positivity, we've grown past this. The answer is no, we haven't. It's funny. It's hilarious. And by the way, sumo wrestlers love the fact that they're sumo wrestlers, and it is good luck in Japan if a sumo wrestler holds your baby. Just want to let you know that. Terrorist costumes, I don't know where you'd get this, right? But that apparently is bad, which is good. And any of, like, you dress up like a woman, if you're a dude. Transphobic costumes, they're calling it, right? So they said Walmart sells offensive tranny granny costume. And yes, the Caitlyn costume is still quite popular. So stay away from those costumes, or go get them. Just deal with it. Good God, get over it. When did we become this way? For a nation that fought for its independence, for people that traveled from one side of the country to another and fought their way through hell and high water from all kinds of elements and through fights and wars with indigenous tribes and each other and all of this stuff, that we've gotten to the point now where a costume may trigger you, and that is ridiculous. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter, ChadBenson. We do have for you a special urban word of the day. Here we go.
Time for the urban word of the day, fam.
What? Right now?
Time to get a little more hip on the streets.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
Urban word of the day.
Schmombi. Schmombi. That is somebody who has a smartphone and essentially they are a zombie. They are walking around, head down, wandering aimlessly, looking at their smartphone. And if you go outside today, just take a look around. You will see plenty of schmombis on this Halloween version of Urban Word of the Day.
Thank you for saying that in dated urban slang so that I'll understand you. That there was the urban word of the day. We damn stretched your cranium.
My Pillow is amazing. I love it. Tonight, I will be dreaming dreams of sweet, sweet, sweet nothings in my head, thanks to My Pillow. It's incredible. I love it. Tonight, I can't wait. I can't wait. Traveling this weekend, it is coming with me. I've got one here that I take with me, and I always remember sometimes I leave it in the studio, and that drives me crazy, but I take it everywhere I go. And the more that you sleep, the better it is for you. I read a story today that says lack of sleep over a long period of time may lead to things like Alzheimer's and dementia. What? Yes. More and more, it's important to get sleep. That's where My Pillow comes in. 100% machine washable and dryable cotton. 10-year warranty made right here in the U.S. of A. And here's what they're doing for you. Buy one, get one free. Now, that is a trick or treat that you will love. What do you mean? You buy one, they give you one free. They make great Halloween presents. And they make great Christmas presents. Oh, Chad, tell me more. Go to MyPillow.com. Use promo code Benson, Benson. You're going to get a better night's rest. It is the world's most comfortable pillow. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Or call 800-983-4975. Kellyanne Conway, yeah, her. She joins us. We're going to argue, I'm sure, about stuff like McSally and cinema. But we're going to talk about midterms. And we're able to talk a little Halloween as well. She joins us straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You guys ask, we deliver. Joining us now, counselor to the President of the United States of America. And an honor to have you on the show today. Appreciate you taking time out in this busy time. Kellyanne Conway joins us. And let's jump right into it, Kelly, because we've got midterms coming up. We're less than 6 days away from this thing kicking off, and Trump is out there on the trail trying to get the base excited.
Indefatigable is the way that we describe the President of the United States, and he dispatched Some of the others of us who have our own political schedules. On my personal time, I'll be flying to New Mexico today, tomorrow, Wisconsin, and Michigan. I know Ivanka Trump and Sarah Sanders have been out there. Obviously, the vice president's been hitting it hard. And I think it's, in terms of the president investment, it's starting to look like 2016 all over again, which is where he runs for the tape and he leaves it all out in the field. And the president is doing what he can to make sure that there is a House and Senate that supports his agenda of freedom and free markets.
You know, we look at the polls, and I there's several things I look at, and it's not just the polls, which is because polls can be wrong, because as we all know, people will lie. But I also look at ballots mailed back, things of that nature. Yes. And if you look at everything, in some areas, the polls say there's big victories for the Democrats. But if you start looking at other things, it doesn't look so sure. How confident is the president that it's going to be a surprise again for the Democrats come Tuesday night?
Well, the president is confident that his Republican National Committee and the other organizations and his own presidential campaign, and of course him most of all, have made the investments that are critical to winning elections like this, particularly in an off year for the party in power, which have proved historically disastrous. Bill Clinton lost 54 seats in the House and controls the House and Senate. Barack Obama lost 63 seats in the House of Representatives and aptly referred to that as a shellacking. He was right. They both want to be two-term presidents. But if you tell this president that, he doesn't want to hear that. He wants to hear that he can keep control of the Congress, because a unified government is what has produced historic tax cuts and deregulation and the highest growth in wages in 18 years, the highest consumer confidence in 18 years, the lowest unemployment rates among African Americans and Hispanics and Asian Americans ever. Lower rates for women in 65 to 70 years. So everywhere you turn, the economic boom is all around you. And so are the confidence numbers. People who didn't even vote for Donald Trump, or haven't voted Republican in a long time, or who have never voted, or who have never voted Republican, are saying that the economic boom has benefited them. Now, you're right that some of these fundamentals matter. The RNC has raised over $250 million, and they've invested that in the ground game. A record number of volunteers and precinct captains and knocks on the doors and phone calls and emails and text messages to voters to make sure they know that their vote is their voice and that it counts. Also, there in Arizona, since I'm speaking in my personal capacity today as Kellyanne Conway, I'll tell you, I don't know if you've got a bigger contrast anywhere in this country than in Arizona between those two Senate candidates.
Yeah.
You've got Martha McSally, who went into combat and fought on behalf of the United States of America, a veteran herself. And then you've got Kirsten Sinema, who voted against pay raises for our military and voted against them having the equipment that they need. She also seemed to never encounter an insult against the people of Arizona that she didn't like and didn't repeat. Insulting the stay-at-home moms, saying they're reaching off for their husbands and boyfriends. You know, I've been working my entire adult life, but I have enormous respect for the millions of stay-at-home moms out there who have the circumstances and can make the choices not to work outside the home. They should not be insulted by somebody who wants to represent the United States Senate. They should be lifted up by all of us. Kirsten Sinema referred to Arizona as, quote, the meth lab of the country. I mean, these people have a very sharp contrast in Arizona. They can have somebody who served this nation with dignity and with honor in the United States House, but also in the United States military as a combat pilot, or someone who continues to insult them and vote against the things that they care about, like peace and prosperity.
You know, obviously being here in Arizona, we joke about it all the time, about who we are at times and what we are. And I've said this, and I've had a lot of people say this, because when I look at the ads with McSally, when I look at the ads of Sinema, it's gotten to, and I'm sure you deal with this too, because you're a logical human being. Sometimes these things are so negative, and all I hear about is how horrible the other person is, not what you're going to do for me. And I'm at the point, and a lot of my listeners are at the point where it's like, great, you were a fighter pilot. If we need a fighter pilot to bomb Congress or somewhere else, we'll call you. But the reality is, I want to know what's
really fair when it comes to Congresswoman McSally. Then you're not living in a record, respectfully. She voted for the tax cuts that have led to this unbelievable economic boom, the greatest story never told, as my colleague Larry Kudlow says. And you can't look, people can ignore the numbers, but they can't deny them. And you can't deny the growth being over 4%, the unemployment being under 4%. Arizona has benefited from this boom. The president and Martha McSally approaching border security as national security and wanting to have common sense immigration reforms. Also, just the deregulation. We hear from small businesses every single day in Arizona and elsewhere that they were flat on their backs that they thought they would have to retract or maybe just shut her altogether. And now they're expanding. They're hiring again. They're doubling their inventory. You've got a president who's tackling an opioid crisis through a whole-of-government approach, something that Martha McSally supports as well and supported the legislation. And it's a whole-of-government approach to treat the whole person. It's hurting the people of Arizona and all 50 states, really. We call it the crisis next door. But he's had the courage, he and the First Lady, to step forward and actually make a difference. Historic funding for school safety, historic funding for the opioid crisis, historic funding for our military. Martha McSally has been a positive vote for all of that. So I don't know what her ads say, but I can tell you what her votes have been. And she's been there. She's been a steady voice for the interest of Arizonans, but also for all Americans.
Yeah.
I think the contrast is very clear, and this is why the president, the vice president, and others have been out there making that case. And look, Kyrsten Sinema, she should be held to account for some of the crazy policies and the antics and just the crazy talk that's going on in her party these days. I don't know. Who does she believe is in charge of her party? The 72-year-old socialist, Bernie Sanders, 28-year-old socialist from New York, Alexandria
Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah, that one who doesn't really know anything. Every time they interview her about something, she either makes stuff up or just hasn't boned up.
Isn't that hilarious, Kelly? That they continue to go to her. It doesn't matter. The media loves her, and I've never understood why.
I her book as much as possible. She can have any of my invitations with her money for TV because I love hearing her speak. I would think at this point somebody would give her a briefing book and say, hey, if you're asked about Israel, if you're asked about the economy, if you're asked about health care, if you're asked about job creation, at least try to say these things. Now, something they all are saying quite articulately, but ridiculously, is that they support Medicare for all. And the seniors in Arizona should know that means less Medicare for them. Medicare for all is nothing more than single-payer socialized medicine. Even Barack Obama, as president, when he passed Obamacare, which has left over 20 million Americans without health care 8.5 years after its passage, even he didn't go for Medicare for all single-payer. He says he supports it now. And, of course, he's trying to take credit for the Trump economy. We finally found one Democrat in the whole country who thinks the Trump economy is going well and happens to be President Barack Obama. But Kyrsten Sinema doesn't think that. She voted against the tax cuts that have lowered our corporate tax rate from 35%, the highest in the developed world, to 21%, which is below the average, which has helped us repatriate billions on our way to trillions of dollars of wealth that was parked illegally overseas. They're bringing it home. Apple's bringing it home. If you are like Kyrsten Sinema and you voted against the Tax Cut and Job Act last year, you voted against 20,000 new jobs in the United States of America by Apple. If Tim Cook could have put those jobs in the United States when his pal, President Obama, was in office, you know he would have. But you can't if you're getting killed by the Obama tax hikes. So if you're voting for free markets and freedom, if you support the fact that our military and our veterans, our first responder and law enforcement feel more deeply respected and more generously resourced under Martha McSally's leadership in Congress, then you'll vote for her for the United States Senate. I say that in my personal capacity, but I feel very emphatic about it.
Well, you know what?
It is the year of the woman, but
it is the year of the woman. It is for a lot of people, and you've said it, and we've offered her and Sinema 1,000 times to come on here, and again, you gave a better sales pitch than she has given the opportunities that we've had on here, and I appreciate you.
I'm proud to be on her team in my personal capacity. I'm proud to be on a campaign for a very long time, and I've watched Kyrsten Sinema try to have it all different ways on many different issues. But she has, I also read a couple of stories yesterday where she's raised most of her money here in Washington, D.C. That's not somebody who's fighting for Arizona, saying on one hand, we need transparency and accountability, get rid of dark money, and then scooping up as much of a haul as she possibly can from lobbyists and big fat cat donors. So don't be fooled. I know Arizonans are smarter than that, and they'll vote for someone who's there to protect their interests.
Well, we're going to find out next Tuesday night. As always, appreciate you coming on today, and I hope you have a good, safe, fun Halloween and dress up because it's a fun day, Kelly.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Take care now.
Kellyanne Conway right there, counselor to the president. Interesting. She said a lot more about McSally. And again, it's up to you guys. I just know what I see commercials. And it's funny because we got 4 TVs in here and 4 commercials were on, in the space of the 5-10 minutes we had her on. And 3 of them were ads against each other. And I still don't know what the hell either of them stand for, except for one is a fighter pilot. And if we need one of those in Congress, we'll let you know. And the other one dressed up like a pink tutu and says she doesn't really recognize the Democrat Party. And we'll see. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Well, Halloween stuff still to get to. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
Oh, man, what a day. Trump might be sending more troops to the border. How much of this is, is it real? Is it not real?
As far as the caravan is concerned, our military is out. We have about 5,008. We'll go up to anywhere between 10 and 15,000 military personnel on top of Border Patrol, ICE, and everybody else at the border.
So based on the amount of people he's thinking about sending there, everybody who's showing up is going to get at least one or two of their own military personnel. How nice is that? It's a solid use of our money. How about we just fix the issue? That would be awesome. I don't know if we can, but I would love to think that we're going to fix the issue. And on top of all of that stuff going on, you've still got the battle of what took place yesterday that is, once again, not going anywhere, and more people are talking about it. Yes, birthright citizenship.
Vowing to single-handedly end the Constitution's guarantee of citizenship to anyone born in the United States.
You can definitely do it with an act of Congress, but now they're saying I can do it just with an executive order. It's in the process. It'll happen.
But the top Republican in Congress said the president simply does not have that power.
Well, you obviously cannot do that. You cannot end birthright citizenship with an executive order. We didn't like it when Obama tried changing immigration laws via executive action. I think in this case the 14th Amendment's pretty clear.
As the election approaches, the president focused on the caravan of migrants fleeing poverty and violence in Central America and traveling by foot to the U.S.-Mexico border.
Yeah, so this is going to be a battle, and it's going to go on, and it's going to continue to go on, and the whole thought of this is you go and you look at the Constitution, and there's the language in there, right? Subject to jurisdiction, and that's what's going to be battled. And you've got the 1918, I think it was Plyer versus Doe about undocumented kids. It was Texas essentially saying that, no, taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for undocumented kids to be educated. And you had a very left-leaning court, and now you've got a right-leaning court, and the thought process is they're going to be able to challenge this. We'll see. I mean, we're going to find out, because everything along the way is going to be challenged in court. Doesn't matter if Trump's in office or not. I mean, I think it's because everything he does now is so high profile, and everything he does is so over the top, and everything that fights against Trump, the resistant movement, is so massive that the reality is this is going to be fought always at some level in courts. Always. And where certain things were fought along in courts, it wasn't to the extent of this as far as the coverage goes. Because there's always going to be lawsuits. No matter what any president does. Doesn't matter who he or she the president is, or shim, or whatever it is, they. Did I say shim? I don't think that's right either, is it? Did I make something up? You're a bad person, politically wrong. Doesn't matter. It's going to be everything nowadays is going to be fought in a courtroom. And Trump's like, hey, you know what? We'll see. We're going to throw a bunch of stuff against the wall and see what sticks. And maybe we'll light a fire. I'll cause a lot of anger for a bunch of people, but it is what it is. I've made some promises. I'm trying to keep those promises. He's not the first one, by the way, to talk about birthright citizenship. Listen to this. This guy, if you listen to this, you want to talk about somebody who's divisive.
If making it easy to be an illegal alien isn't enough, how about offering a reward for being an illegal immigrant? No sane country would do that. Guess again. If you break our laws by entering this country without permission and give birth to a child, we reward that child with U.S. citizenship and guarantee of full access to all public and social services this society provides. And that's a lot of services. Is it any wonder that 2/3 of the babies born at taxpayer expense at county-run hospitals in Los Angeles are born to illegal alien mothers?
I listen to that and I think to myself, my God, divisive. Oh, that's Harry Reid. He used to be that guy. You know who Harry Reid is, yeah. Yeah, he used to be that guy. Oh, the tunes, and the wind shall change those tunes along the way. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter.
If we're being honest, one of the scariest things about trick-or-treating is accepting the fact that people who are way too old to be doing it do it anyway. But what is the correct age for the cutoff? Our friends at the data site 538 teamed up with SurveyMonkey to ask the question. 57% of people responding said between 12 and 15 years old is when kids should stop. The survey also finds it's easier for trick-or-treaters to get big hauls in suburbs, where 68% of people plan to hand out candy, compared to 52% in urban areas and just 46% in rural neighborhoods.
Yeah, because it's too far. But this is the way, if you want to get a great haul, you've got to be last. That's the key. My little sister Hunter and I realized one year, because we went late and she got a massive haul. So you go early, you then reposition, you go in, you take stock of all of the stuff that you have, and then you make that last run starting about 7:15, 7:30. Chances are, if you go leave me a little bit later, you're going to be the last person to show at somebody's house, and that's what you want, because people don't want extra candy around, because we're heading into the holidays of Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we just don't need extra candy. It's awesome. So you got to be smart about it, kids. That's what you got to do. You got to be smart about it. And I don't know who cares, man? If an adult comes up, I'm going to hand him a piece of candy. If you're willing to wander around, darn it, enjoy the candy. 323-538-2423. 323-538-2423. Oh, man, AMAC. What is AMAC, Chad? Association of Mature American Citizens. They're giving away a free membership. It's a year. Free membership. All you have to do is be over the age of 50. You sign up, and let's say you're sick of ARP, and I've got a lot of people who said, I'm sick of ARP. I'm sick of what they believe in. I'm sick of all of this stuff. They don't represent any of my views. That's what AMAC's for. They are the conservative alternative to ARP. But on top of that, they've got great benefits. Benefits that are incredible. I'm talking about 40% off movie tickets, up to 40% off theme parks. How about this? Retail, restaurant, hotel, travel discounts. So many huge companies they work with, and they are ready for you to join today. They don't even want your credit card. All they want you to do is just go and sign up. Go to AMAC, that's AMAC.US/Chad. You're going to get a year free. It's on me. AMAC.US/Chad. AMAC.US/Chad. AMAC is better for you, better for America. Join for free today. 1 year. AMAC.US/Chad. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. ChadBenson. You can tweet at us. Love it when you do. Follow along at Chad Benson Show TV. That's on the old YouTubes and the Twitter as well. People always say you say the number fast, so here's a slow one. 323-538-2423. That's the text line. It is the ghoulish edition of the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This president has radicalized so many more people than ISIS ever did.
As the biggest terror threat in this country is white men.
Trump has delivered. He has delivered racism for these people. He has delivered misogyny for these people.
The same type of propaganda that you would have seen in Germany in 1938. His ignorance could pose a profound danger to every single person in this country and literally every inhabitant of the planet Earth.
The president's obviously a racist. He's obviously a demagogue. He obviously condones anti-Semitism, stokes up nationalist hate. And what Trump has tapped into is evil.
This moral monster is playing to those base instincts.
It's not minimally human behavior.
There's no way that he's going to prevail because he's evil. He's dark. It's the opposite of what America stands for.
This has now become a struggle about good versus evil. And the president of the United States is evil.
Is that insanity? Right? Happy Halloween, everybody. Is that insanity? Talk about scared. Talk about fear-mongering. There's not a monster out there. I'm terrified. I don't know who you're talking about. I'm terrified. Who's evil? Who's coming after us? Who is it? Where's Donald Pleasance? We need him. He's evil. That is I just... Remember, in the world that we live in, right, you've got to create the other side because you are the dragon slayer. There was a movie that came out several years ago with the late Heath Ledger, and I think Matt Damon was in it as well. I think it was the Grimm brothers, if I'm correct. And what they did is they were essentially monster hunters, and they knew there wasn't really any monsters. What they would do is create monsters, go into villages. It's like set in the, 15th century, whatever. They go into villages and say, look, there's this monster, and he's terrorizing everybody. So you need to hire us to slay the monster. And they'd be like, oh, and they would pay him. And then they go, we caught the monster. That's what you have to do in politics. When you hear stuff like this, when you hear asinine things like this.
This president has radicalized so many more people than ISIS ever did. I mean, the way he talks, the way he winks and nods to these groups, the way he says, I know I'm not supposed to say it, but I'm a nationalist, the way that he hems and haws when he has to condemn these people.
For you not to push back on that, you're about to push back. That's irresponsible. For her to say that the President of the United States has radicalized more people than ISIS is irresponsible.
Yeah, it is. But you're not going to get noticed if you don't say insane things like this. You have to. Our president may be the leader of the Ku Klux Klan. I don't know. But what I do know is now I'm going to get retweeted. Somebody's going to click on me. Here we go. Does that help anybody? Does it? Does that further any conversation? No. Is it an asinine thing to say? Absolutely. Welcome to the world we live in, though. And for you white men out there,
I keep trying to point out to people not to demonize any one group or any one ethnicity, but we keep thinking that the biggest terror threat is something else. Some people who are marching, towards the border like it's imminent. So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
So, Producer Phil, I want some clarification here because I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. Readily, I would tell the people that. We're not going to demonize any group here because that's not right. Demonizing's horrible. We shouldn't do that. White men are the problem of everything.
Yeah, I was having an issue with that as well.
Okay, I needed a clarification. Sometimes I need a ruling. Let's listen to that again. So remember what he said. He's not demonizing anybody. He is.
I keep trying to point out to people not to demonize any one group or any one ethnicity, but we keep thinking that the biggest terror threat is something else. Some people who are marching, towards the border like it's imminent. So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
No, you want to know what the biggest threat is right now? The flu. 80,000 people will die this year because of the flu. It's not fun to talk about because you can't call the flu. Because the flu is, if you want true equality, it's the flu. Like there's nothing more equal than the flu. Doesn't care if you're black or white, you're rich or poor, you're gay or straight. It doesn't care at all. If you get it, you get it. And for some people out there, they're going to end up losing 80,000 people. That's terrifying. Not 4,000 people marching here from Guatemala, right? That's not terrifying. It's annoying that our government has failed to do anything and that we continue to play this game of not fixing any of the problems because nobody will take anybody's trade-off, so we don't get to actually see any of these things somewhat move to a, hey, we're moving in a direction that's good. It's annoying. But the flu, what are you going to say about the flu? I'm here live. What do you think of the flu? I think the flu's racist. I think it's just the most racist thing I've ever seen. It is you know what? I think the flu is, well, it's not only problematic in the African-American community, but I do believe that white people have invented it. That's the only way you could talk about it. Coming out and saying, look, you need to get a flu shot because 80,000 people are going to die. 80,000. We're not going to talk about that, though. Right? We're not going to talk about that. He's radicalized more people than ISIS. Ladders kill more people than ISIS. We don't talk about ladders. Right? People are going to go into their bathtub today around this country, and some of them are not going to come out of their bathtub alive. They're going to slip. They're going to hit their head. Those are real. Those are real things. Real. I don't want to demonize anybody, though. But white people suck and they're awful. But wait, hold on here. It is, he's not done, old Don Lemon. He's got a lot to say. Remember, all you cisgender white males, and this is, by the way, Don, I'm going to let you in on something. When you say I don't want to demonize somebody, and then you go and demonize them, it's the reason that people are sick and tired of hearing BS like this. It really is. But he's not finished, kids.
We have to start doing something about them. There is no travel ban on them. There is no ban on, they had the Muslim ban. There is no white guy ban. So what do we do about that?
Do you want a white man ban? Oh, ban. I thought you said band. I'm sure there's a white man band out there. This is absolutely asinine. And here's the thing. This is what happens when we allow political correctness and all of this crap to roll in. You guys want to know why Donald Trump's in the White House? He's the answer to a lot of questions that people are afraid to answer out in the open. White guy, white gal at work thinks that the microaggressions and the cultural appropriations of a Halloween costume and how somebody gets fired for this or that, or sick and tired of all of this stuff and has to go around placating everybody with this BS, so they go along with it. And then when they do decide to speak up, it's not at the office. It's not at the school meeting. It's not at the soccer practice. It's not at any of these places. You know where it's at? It's the voting booth. The thing I can't say out there, I'm going to say in here. That's what happens. And then we got this crap, right? There's no white man ban. Ban us from what? Ban me. I don't care. I'm going to get on with my life. But if you want to talk about things that are really issues, let's do it. We've got a massive debt problem. Healthcare is so damn expensive up the wazoo. That's scary. We have 80,000 people that will die from the flu. 80,000. That's a lot of people. Like, those are numbers, like data and facts and stuff. Not some theory that's not been proven out. Those are real things. But for a guy on CNN to come out and say the problem is white men, and the sad thing is nobody's going, dude, come on, get your head out of your ass. Right? Stop just, you're blowing smoke up everybody's ass. This is crap. No. He won't say that. Nobody will say that there because they're terrified. They're terrified for the backlash on social media. They're terrified for everything else. Oh, my goodness me. They're all terrified. It's a bunch of BS. No, you want to know where there should be a ban? On stupid people, on ignorant people. Can't say that, though, right? That's not very nice. Who's with me on that? Yeah, everybody across the board. This is ridiculous. This is scary. And people are out there going, he's absolutely right. White guys are the worst people on earth. Dumbasses. And all those other people who are clapping, white guys and gals going, he's absolutely right. You guys are idiots too. Stop it. Enough of this crap. Everybody is jockeying for position to find out how much victimhood will get them. Right? Eric Weinstein, the guy from Evergreen, was it State or University, the professor that wouldn't leave when it's a day without a white guy or whatever. He called it the oppressed Olympics. Everybody's trying to find out who could become more oppressed and more oppressed. How much more can you break everything up? Because we don't really want equality. It's about equity, right? And what's the equity? The equity isn't equality. The equity is, we want you to get this, but we want extra. And everybody wants a little extra on their victimhood. It's time to grow up. You want us all to be Americans? Fantastic. Stop separating yourself. It's a joke. Happy Halloween! 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. And I will say that number a little bit slower. 323-538-2423. A lot of stuff we're going to get to today. Paranormal, UFOs, horror movies. We're going to talk about them all. It's a lot of fun. Why not enjoy there's enough scary crap out there. Birthright citizenship. We'll touch a little bit on that as well. You can text the program, tweet at us as well. And Ben HANSON, fact or faked, Sci-Fi Network, joins us, bottom of the hour, talk about some of the crazy stuff he's seen and how he breaks down the investigations that he does. I slept well last night, you see, my pretties. Because of my pillow. No, not your pillow, my pillow. It was awesome. Man, I hit the sack at it was the first time I'd been home in, I think, 6 days. And I've been home twice in like 10 days. And I was out like my head hit the pillow, boom, out like a light. And it is incredible. My pillow is amazing. And I read an article today, it was in Forbes magazine, that says lack of sleep can lead to early Alzheimer's and onset dementia. That's scary. That's why you need sleep. That's what My Pillow's about, giving you a better night's sleep. So are you ready for it? It's a BOGO going on right now. That's buy one, get one free. All you have to do is go to mypillow.com, right? Use promo code Benson or call 800-983-4975. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. You're going to buy one. You're going to get one free. They make great Christmas gifts, even though it's Halloween. They do. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
We have to start doing something about them. There is no travel ban on them. There is no ban on, they had the Muslim ban. There is no white guy ban. So what do we do about that?
I'm still just shocked. He came out and said, what do we do about white men? What do we do about white men? Should we get rid of them? What's going to make anybody happy? I'm curious out there on the left. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Hope you're doing well this beautiful Halloween. You going to go trick-or-treating tonight? I am. Going to head down with the kids. We're going to have a little bit of fun. A little trick, a little treat. I like it. Here's some craziness. Third most spent on holiday is the weed. So think about that for a second, kids. Think about that.
It's no trick. We spend a lot on Halloween, maybe more than you plan to.
Collectively, we're looking to spend almost $10 billion now, and that boils down to roughly $100 per household.
Wallet Hub's Joe Gonzalez says you can teach your kids that you don't have to spend that much.
You can budget out and allocate candy just like you can do with money. So take the time to teach them a little about personal finance in the meantime.
Gonzalez says Halloween has become the third most expensive holiday in the U.S., just behind Christmas and Valentine's Day.
And one of those shouldn't be on that list because it's stupid. Just letting you guys know. I think we all know which one that is. Christmas. No, I'm just... Halloween? How much do... You know what? This is why the world hates us, right? Us evil white men in the United States of America. We're going to spend about $500 million on costumes for our pets. Think about that. Costumes for our pets. Guilty. Winston? Oh, yeah. He's got a costume. Well, he's got several of them. And the dog Doodle? He's got a hot dog costume. Of course. Why not? It's stupid, yes, but it's fun. That's what we like to do. That's why the rest of the world hates us. Why? Because we have fun. Our burgers are too big, as are our bellies. And our animals live better than most people around the world, so obviously we're supposed to be hated. Damn you, white people. What I'm trying to do is get producer Phil and I into the position where they just start calling us alt-right. Right? Is that anybody now that doesn't have groupthink? You're automatically in the alt-right. It's like, shut up. Shut up. Who are you to tell somebody what they get to be in or not? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. We'll have useless facts of the day when it comes throughout the day on Halloween and horror movies and little things like this. The Exorcist, one of my favorite movies. The name of the demon? Pazuzu. I know, weird, right? Actually, translated King of the Demons comes from Babylonians. What? Oh, Chad, tell us more. Oh, baby birds, don't worry, I'll feed you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. A lot of stuff still to get to today. Joining us next, Ben HANSON. Fact or fake? He is straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I love scary stuff, hence the reason why I got into, talking about politics and a lot of other stuff in the world. This guy actually goes out there and finds out if there is scary stuff and if it's real. Ben HANSON joins us from Fact or Faked, Paranormal Files. That's on the Sci-Fi Channel. Am I correct, Ben?
Yeah, it originally aired there, and eventually Destination America bought up the reruns of it. Yeah,
I love it. So you're an FBI guy, right? If I'm reading this correct, you at one time were an FBI investigator, and you liked this kind of stuff. So you went out and said, let's put some real things like this to the test.
Yeah, well, sort of. I mean, I didn't leave because of that, but I'd always been interested in it. So it's when I was a kid, in high school, it was kind of like X-Files was popular, and I thought, well, why can't I do both? Didn't think it really existed, but I really got into it, and a TV show opportunity came along, and got to be able to do it full time.
So let's break it down, because I've got experience with Bigfoot, but you go out there. It's not just things like Bigfoot. You do all, like I'm reading Iceland worm monster. What in God's name is an Iceland worm monster?
Well, that particular one, I think that legend is at least hundreds of years old. And somebody had a video of something that looked like, there's some kind of worm in this giant lake that they have there. And so our show is based on, video or photo that gets us into a case. And so why not? So we flew out to Iceland, and it was awesome. I mean, we got to go to some of the craziest places, like, Australia looking for mermaids, or the UK, and looking for a woman who disappeared, in her bed sheets on camera. So a lot of weird stuff.
That's crazy. That's great. And that's how they send you stuff, and you decide, hey, this warrants an investigation, warrants us looking at it to see if we can see if it's some sort of fake. And if it's not, then it warrants a field investigation. And I was just joking with my producer. I said, what in God's name is a Cajun apparition? Because that just sounds just awful in and itself.
That one was probably referring to the Honey Island swamp monster, which was this creature that a lot of people have claimed to see down there in the bayou, and it's sort of
moonshine.
Like a version of Bigfoot. Yeah. Yeah. But unfortunately, most of the people who see it have been drinking, so you kind of can't eliminate that. But it's a huge creature that's kind of like a swamp monster covered in, moss and everything, and it tromps around, and there's reports of it eating livestock, and pretty crazy. So we had sort of a kind of weird incident while we were down there, hearing some weird noises, and there's alligators all around, and so it was kind of having to deal with both of them. As you jump off the boat into the water, you're like, well, this would not be a good time to meet the monster if it was real.
No, that would probably be the worst time to meet it. As we talked to Ben Hanson from, was it Fact or Faked Paranormal Files? And when you look at these things, so you go out and do these things, and I think it's pretty funny. So you go out and do these things, because I find stuff like this awesome. And you do UFOs, you do ghosts, you do monsters, you do legends. And a lot of these things, there's legends. And as we all know, legends, there's usually some truth in the legend as it's passed down, like with the Iceland, worm monster and things of that nature. Some of this stuff you go out there and you're like, this is a joke. This is ridiculous. But I'm sure there are cases where you've gone out there and you're like, I can't, there's something going on here that I can't explain and that science isn't going to be able to explain. And there's some weird stuff.
Yeah, I would say, when we first started the show, there was probably about, about half of them that we couldn't explain, and then we kind of got better at our skills, and I'd say there was still a third, in the second, third seasons, there was probably about a third that we came up with just because you can explain, let's say, how video could have been made or hoaxed didn't mean that it was. And so we'd go and if we felt like unsatisfied, we'd still do a paranormal investigation, and we saw some really amazing things. We caught some UFOs on film that I think are some of the best ever caught on film. I watched in the ghost investigations objects flying across the room, object manipulation, things that we caught on tape. We had like with the cryptozoological stuff, one of the most famous cases we had was it was up near Fresno. And if you Google fact or faked night crawlers, you'll see a pair of pants, it looks like. Just the pants walking across somebody's lawn. And it was one of those really eerie videos that went viral. And to this day, I still don't know. It either had to be CGI or this homeowner was in on this hoax, which is not likely considering his background. And so, there's a lot of things that we would just have to kind of put in that box of, well, I can't explain this one at all. And it's pretty cool when you do that.
Does it make you look at the world in a different place when you think ghosts and UFOs and things like that? Are you more open? Because the way I've always looked at it, we are skeptical by nature, right? Like if somebody posts something on Facebook about how their kid had nobody at their party, and that just happened, out here a couple weeks ago, and then everybody's like, oh, and I'm like, well, wait a minute here. The first thing is, we're skeptical and we're like, the mom wants something. She wants free goodies. And that's why she's doing it. And a lot of people go into things, I think, if you're not open-minded enough, you poo-poo it and you find a way to poo-poo everything. So you've got to be open-minded in a situation like this. And have you seen people who are skeptics who are like, I can't really explain that, so I'm not as skeptical about that, because I can get it why people, every star in the, ooh, that's a UFO, that's a ghost. You can explain a lot of that away, but for skeptics, they try to explain everything away.
Yeah, absolutely. And technology is kind of a double-edged sword because, YouTube and photos, videos, social media, what we have is like this great vehicle to be able to show this to the world, but it's also so much easier to fake it now. And so I don't blame people for looking at something and automatically thinking it was faked. But at the same time, if we do come up with a smoking gun, let's say, a UFO lands on the White House lawn, how are we going to be able to tell the world that story? Because we don't trust our media anymore, and we don't trust, people on YouTube. So how many people are still going to believe that didn't happen?
Yeah.
So seeing is not really believing. I think it's going to take some major incidents where a lot of people, your friend down the street or you, are going to see things in the sky and say, okay, well, this is a real phenomenon now. We need to study it.
Absolutely. Talking to Ben Hanson from Fact or Faked Paranormal Files, and you can check him out at benhanson.com. That's with an E, HANSEN. So now part of the Hanson brothers, so everybody slow your roll. So what's the scariest thing? You've had to have done a few of these where you're like, you know what? That was that made me uncomfortable. That was crazy. That was creepy, and it made you really go.
Well, I've been touched before by things I couldn't see. I've had audible voices spoken into my ear, sentences. I was actually off the show. I was giving a lecture at the UFO Museum in Roswell, New Mexico, interestingly. And the theater supposedly was haunted. And I said, hey, you want to come check it out? So when we were done lecturing, I went upstairs and we were setting up equipment, and I was facing the rest of the group who didn't see behind them. I was looking at them, and I watched a dark shadow with a cloak just, casually walk across the hallway and walk right through the wall. And that was kind of the first and only time I've seen a full apparition like that. But, with everything that happens, you just kind of put that in your box and like, okay, now I've seen that, I've done that, and so now what else could happen? And it's pretty crazy because you do this enough, you probably will see just about everything.
That's the cool thing. And UFOs, you talk about UFOs. What's the UFO thing where you're like, I can't explain that. Nobody else can explain that, no matter how hard we look at any of the things. What's the one thing where you were like, we're not alone?
Well, I've had 3 sightings now, excuse me, and probably my favorite was actually where I live here in Huntington Beach, California, and I went for a jog with my wife, and it was dark. We went up to the high school track, and I had finished running, so I was sitting there on the lawn in the middle of the track looking up at the sky, stretching, and suddenly this triangular craft, and it had 3 white points of light, completely silent. It just came cruising over our heads about 1,000 feet. And she came around the track, and I looked at her, and I was hoping that she saw it. I said, I think I just saw it. And she says, a UFO. I'm like, you saw it too. The craziest thing, though, was that I felt like I was drinking the Kool-Aid because a lot of people describe these triangular black UFOs not only as being silent, but also having some sort of like cloaking or invisibility to them. And I was like, well, what I saw was the paint or the inside of the triangle was exactly the same as the sky above. So I could see an edge, but otherwise it looked like it was just 3 white lights. And when it flies over you and it's completely silent, cruising as it did several hundred miles an hour, to me, if it's ours, that's pretty cool stuff, because it's not conventional. It's not anything that our military, has even hinted at having. So why would you fly it over a populated area as well? All these questions, and you can't just discount after that, other people's stories.
That's crazy. It's crazy. Ben Hanson's name. Fact or faked was the. What are you doing now? What's going on in your world right now?
Well, the paranormal subject is really hot again on TV. A couple networks are buying lots of shows, so I'm really close to getting another show going here. Can't name the network yet, but I do that for the most part as a hobby and just kind of dabble in that. But I'm always doing public investigations, and I just came off of a paranormal cruise. So anything I can do that involves it's a lot of fun.
Right on, my man. Appreciate you coming on today, and go enjoy your Halloween, and maybe you'll be scared a little bit later. Thanks so much for spending time with us today.
All right. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you. At Chad Benson Shows your Twitter, ChadBenson. Somebody texts in and go, are you going to tell your Bigfoot story again? I think I could do my Bigfoot story. I'll bust out my Bigfoot story for you guys. We've all got something out there, right? Everybody's got a little something. Don't know what it is. You saw something in your house. Everybody's got a little something. Mine is a Bigfoot story. We'll talk about that. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
While pointless pundits ponder what was, Chad wisely wonders, what's next?
A lot of people are wondering, was this a mob hit, right? Because that seems like an obvious thing. Online, there are rumors, but we don't know for sure who's responsible at this point, if it was one person or several. But what we do know is that his attorney, Whitey Bulgar's attorney, says that he's pointing the finger at the Federal Bureau of Prisons. He's saying that they turned his life sentence into a death sentence.
He's 89. He killed 11 people. He was on the run for years. And if he killed 11 that they know of, you could probably double or triple that. Of course it was a mob hit. Of course it was. They put him there. He was there less than 24 hours. He's in a wheelchair. 3 guys take him to a place where they can't be seen on closed-circuit TV. And apparently, while they said the cause of death was heart attack, I believe it was brought on by the fact that somebody put a lock inside of a sock and whacked the guy. I would go, and they tried to apparently gouge out his eyes with a shiv. Is that lock a lockbox? Nope, totally different. Yeah, I'm thinking it's a hit. So you guys are tweeting in and say, Chad, come on. What's your Bigfoot story? So I do have a Bigfoot story from when I was in the Utes, when I was a young child. I think I was probably like 11 or 12. My little cousin was 8. His name was John. My dad and my whole family, we drove up to Olympia, Washington State. And we were there, and we spent about a week or two up there. My uncle and his family lived there, and my uncle was like a super recluse, Vietnam, totally kind of out there. And it was an interesting character, but he was a surveyor. So in Vietnam, he was a tunnel rat. He liked to be alone, even though he had a family. He was a surveyor. He liked to go out, and he would survey. So they drop him off in the middle of the forest out there, and he would walk 2 or 3 days back on his own with nobody around, and he would survey the land and the whole 9 yards. So he said, look, I've become friends with a lot of these landowners, and they got some great ponds out here, and they'll let us fish there. And as a kid, I was like, oh, my God, I love to fish. I love fishing's amazing. I love to fish. And that was one of the reasons we went up there. And we thought we were going to do some, like, sea fishing, but this was great. So he would tell us stories too, like, he'd be out at night surveying the land, and he would hear things, and he would feel like something's watching him that's not regular, that's not like a bear or something like that. And he always felt that way. But, as a kid, you're like, oh my God. So we go out early in the morning. It's about 4 or 5 in the morning. We get to the place. We have about a 45-minute walk into the lake that we're going to go to. And I've never seen so much wildlife in my life. I've never seen so much amazing stuff in my life. And mind you, my dad is kind of a bad dude, and they're both healed, as they would say in the Old West. Both of them have guns. So we're, we're kids. We're out fishing. We're going to have fun. We walk there, and again, I've seen so much, all the wildlife you could ever imagine, birds, deers, all of this stuff. We get to where we're going, and all of a sudden, stuff starts to leave. It's just gone. Like, we notice there's no more birds. There's nothing around. Even the bugs are gone. And it is as dead quiet as you can, and that's kind of awkward. And it's how fast everything took off at once. And then there was this pungent smell, and then there was a scream.
There's Nicole blasting.
And it terrified us. And to see my father and my uncle, who were the 2 toughest people I'd ever seen in my life, terrified like never before. And we literally picked up our stuff and we left immediately. It was nuts. It was. And the smell I will never forget. And I saw my cousin a few years ago, and he said, do you remember? And I said, yeah. I go, do you think about it? He goes, at least once a day. I said, me too. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. ButcherBox, right? You know who would appreciate this? Bigfoot. He's like, I like grass-fed beef. I like organic, free-range chickens. I'll kill them myself. That's how much I like. That's what he said. That's what you're going to love. ButcherBox is incredible. Meat like you couldn't believe. Producer Phil, you had some meat last night. How was it? Please, sir, describe.
It was one of the most tender steaks I ever had, and it was incredibly flavorful.
Yes, like butter. That's what you're going to get with ButcherBox. It's incredible. Less than $6 a meal. It's not that expensive. You want the best of the best of the best of the best coming to your house? All you've got to do is go to butcherbox.com/Chad. You're going to get $25 off when you sign up. Get ready for this. For my listeners only, they're going to throw in bacon for the life of your subscription. Boom! Everybody loves bacon. Happy Halloween, kids. ButcherBox.com/Chad. ButcherBox.com/Chad. I'm telling you guys, your belly is going to be like, this is amazing. ButcherBox.com/Chad. Get that bacon, too. Oh, I love bacon. Daddy loves bacon. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. 'Tis the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This president has radicalized so many more people than ISIS ever did.
As the biggest terror threat in this country is white men.
Trump has delivered. He has delivered racism for these people. He has delivered misogyny for these people.
The same type of propaganda that you would have seen in Germany in 1938. His ignorance could pose a profound danger to every single person in this country and literally every inhabitant of the planet Earth.
The president's obviously a racist. He's obviously a demagogue. He obviously condones anti-Semitism, stokes up nationalist hate. And what Trump has tapped into is evil.
This moral monster is playing to those base instincts.
It's not minimally human behavior.
There's no way that he's going to prevail because he's evil. He's dark. It's the opposite of what America stands for.
This has now become a struggle about good versus evil. And the president of the United States is evil.
But he's still the president. Oh, my Lord. Some of the stuff is just absolutely hilarious. Here's a question I need to ask. And by the way, that's the Halloween theme. For those of you who don't know the Halloween theme, just a little something. It's called Tonight He Comes Home. That's the theme. And John Carpenter is the man that not only directed the movie, but did the music there for that. But just listening to that, right? So just listening to that montage of insanity. I'm over a lot of the crap that Trump does, partly because I just don't want to talk about it anymore. There are so many other things out there that we should be worried about. There's so many other things out there that are real issues in this country. And the media, while they demonize him and just go after him for everything he does, and they chastise him, and all kinds of things. It's amazing. And everything is negative. You know, I'm watching, flipping around, and I see, breaking news. Vets criticize Trump for sending troops to the border. And it's like a few vets do that. And I said, but I can find 20 vets that say it's a good idea, but you're not going to talk about that. Because there's just as much money in hate for him and resistance, and he's the monster. On this Halloween, Trump is the greatest monster. Period. Case closed. End of story. Right? He is the monster. We go see Halloween and Friday the 13th. Can you, minus Laurie Strode, if you don't know who she is, can you name anybody that's been in any of the horror movies? No, but you can sure name the monster. There's Freddy Krueger. There's Jason. There's Michael Myers. Right? There's Leatherface. Like, you know who these people are. He's the monster in the story. And they love it. And they hate it. They do. And the funny thing is, they're just as bad as him. They are. Listen to this. This is the ramblings of a man who likes to stir it up, if you will. And he has. Listen to this.
I keep trying to point out to people not to demonize any one group or any one ethnicity, but we keep thinking that the biggest terror threat is something else. Some people who are marching, towards the border like it's imminent. So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
Now, I'm here to say I'm not here to demonize any group whatsoever. I don't want to do that, because that would be wrong. I don't want to cast a wide net of any kind of hatred towards one group or another, or to demonize. I don't want to do that. I don't. White men suck and they're awful. Collectively. But I don't want to do it, but I had to. Somebody had to. Nobody else is going to do it. You know what I'm sick and tired of? Here's something for everybody. I'm sick and tired of hearing how horrible I am. how horrible all white people are. I'm sick and tired of the victim BS mentality and how everybody's looking to be a victim and nobody wants to be a victor. I'm sick and tired of jockeying for position in the hierarchy of victimhood. Oh, you think you're a victim? Let me tell you my story. Let me tell you my story. I'm sick and tired of it. We never talk about, hey, all the good things white people have done. Chad, now you're being, this is, intersectionality meets, postmodernism meets, shut up. Get over yourself, for God's sakes. Don Lemon, what should we do?
We have to start doing something about them. There is no travel ban on them. There is no ban on, they had the Muslim ban. There is no white guy ban. So what do we do about that?
What would you like to do? I'm curious. If I had him here, I'd go, Don, so what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Do you want to segregate? Because you can't stand maybe white people should be over here and people of color. And remember, too, when we say people of color, which I found out the other day, we can't say that anymore. Phil, I don't know if you know this, but now people of color want to be classified by the origin of where they come from. So you could be people of color, indigenous, native, and then whatever you are. So everybody's got to get in there. Like, you got to find your lane. And when you get in your lane, you can't come out of it. So what is the cure here? Get rid of all white people? What is the cure? I'm curious. What is the cure? There's no ban on men. Okay, so where would you like a ban on white men? What you're doing is you're saying, hey, you white guy, you had no choice in how you were born, right? So you were born a white male or a white woman, but this is for the lack of, we're just going to say male because he mentioned male. But you were born a white person that happens to be male. So you're there. So you're male. And no matter what you do, no matter how you live your life, no matter what kind of ally you are to the politically correct, moral mountain hopping individuals who decide arbitrarily how you should be punished and demonized, no matter how much you go along with them, in the end, it will never be enough. It won't be. And what you then start to do is you start to demonize people, and then they get sick and tired of it. There's a movie called The Omen. I don't know if you guys ever saw that. Damien didn't want to be the son of the devil. Didn't want to be Damien. He didn't want to be any of those things. And he tried to figure, well, I don't want to be. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be this. And eventually, what ended up happening? He goes, well, screw it. If I'm going to be it, I might as well be it. You sit here and you say stuff like, well, I don't want to demonize anybody, but white people suck, especially men. Producer Phil, let me ask you a quick question. Did you have a choice as you were coming out of the birth canal? Or were you like, oh, wait a minute, I want to be a person of color? Or it just was what it was?
I believe it. It just was, Chad.
Okay, thank you. God, sometimes we need rulings. I need to referee in a situation like this. This doesn't bring us closer together. You can talk about... So Don Lemon's the kind of person that's going to get on television and he's going to go, hey, you know what? Trump's divisive in his rhetoric. Trump is awful in his rhetoric. Trump is a horrible human being in his rhetoric. He is doing nothing but dividing the nation. Every tweet, every press conference, every appearance, that's all he does is divide, divide, divide. He never unites. By the way, I don't want to demonize anybody, but white men are the worst. Huh? These are the things we should be worried about. No, there's a lot of stuff to worry about. If we're going to be serious about what we should or shouldn't worry about in life, flu, right? Unintentional deaths. I was reading about unintentional deaths the other day, and it's massive. It is incredible. And we don't talk about any of that stuff. We don't. 80,000 people will die from what? The flu. Think about that. Right? 80,000. The number one cause of death among people ages 1 to 44 is us. Males 35 to 44, does not matter the color. Nearly 3 times more likely to die in a motor vehicle crash. Yeah. 97 and 99% of injuries are caused by our own errors or mistakes. It's not the white guy, the black guy, the green guy, the orange guy, the yellow guy, the purple guy, the gay guy, the straight guy, the Christian, the atheist, the Hindu, the Muslim. It's you. If you should fear anything, it's you. They don't want to unite. There's no money in it. I've told you this, and I'll continue. There is a lot of money in hate. There's a lot of money in discourse. There is a lot of money in argument. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. It is true. The number one killer of you is you. If we're going to be honest, right? Like, that's the number one killer of you. That is... there was a newlywed couple that just died taking a selfie. That had nothing to do with race or anything like that. They literally died trying to get a great picture. Somebody found their phone, and they got some binoculars, looked down, found both of them. The number one killer and thing you should worry about isn't some horrible human being that's on the internet that may potentially do something awful. Nope. The number one killer is you. Of you. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Love hearing from you. A lot of stuff to get to. We're going to talk about horror movies because I like it. It's Halloween. We're having fun today. We're also going to talk about Birthright. The fight is on between the president and even his own party in Paul Ryan, and it's making us all laugh. And we'll talk about that case that people are citing of Birthright. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Now, today, kids, I am not dressed particularly well like I could be. And it's not Bombfell's fault. It's Chad's fault because Chad decided I'm going to dress up like a deranged clown. And I did. But Bombfell helps me look and feel fantastic. And it's incredible. We hate doing what? Shopping, fellas. So why not shop a smarter, easier way? Go to bombfell.com, sign up, go through, take their very quick, I like to dress casual, I like to dress up, I like to dress business casual. See all of the brands that they work with. Then you'll get your own stylist, and then they'll send you stuff at home. Then you try it on at your leisure. What you like, you keep, and pay for it. What you don't, you send back. And you save up to 20% when you buy multiple items. It's that simple. Do what I did. Sign up. Join today. Get your own stylist and start looking good and feeling good. Go to bombfell.com/Benson. When you do, you're going to save yourself $25 right there on your first purchase. BOMBFELL.com/Benson. Save you $25. Bombfell.com/Benson. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Darn, that climate change. Batten down the hatches. It's Topical Storm Chad, headed your way.
The film which you are about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths, in particular Sally Hardesty and her invalid brother Franklin. It is all the more tragic in that they were young. But had they lived very, very long lives, they could not have expected, nor would they have wished to see as much of the mad and macabre as they were to see that day. For them, an idyllic summer afternoon drive became a nightmare. The events of that day were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
What? That right there is the great actor John Larroquette. That was his first acting gig for his roommate, I think, who asked him to do that. Obviously, we all know about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Here's some fascinating facts. Did you know it was actually inspired by a real human being? Many of you may or may not have heard of a man by the name of Ed Gein and his House of Horrors. But he inspired not only this, but 3 movie psychos. Leatherface, Psycho itself, and Silence of the Lambs, which was great, right? But he was nuts. Plainfield, Wisconsin. When they went in there, they found 4 noses, 9 masks made from human skin, numerous decapitated heads, lampshades made of skin, bowls made of skin, lips being used as pulleys on window shades, a belt made from nipples. Yeah. Creepy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet. Somebody just tweeted me and said, Chad, it's about power, right? And that's what this is all about. I get it. I'm not going to deny there's been systematic racism in this country. You'd be a fool to deny that. I'm not going to deny any of those things. But what we want now in this day and age is to say, like somebody, Don Lemon, could come out and say something like this, and people applaud that. And then at the same time, he's going to come out 5 minutes later and say, white people, white men in particular, are the most dangerous thing in society. And at the same time, say that the president is divisive. You can't help how you were born. Nor should you apologize. If you're black, you're white, you're gay, you're straight, you're trans, whatever it is, you shouldn't. But that's what everybody wants. And so you're demonized. And so what ends up happening is you get the reactionary thing. If you're going to tell me I'm an awful, horrible, disgusting, vile human being and that everything in the world is my fault, after a while, I'm like, screw it. I'm not going to try anymore. And if you believe that, I can't change your mind. So A, I'm going to live my life. And B, Here's my reaction to it. Donald Trump. There you go. Don't tell me he's divisive. I understand that. But you get on your moral mountain, because all politics is divisive. That's how you win. But then you get on your moral mountain and say he's divisive, and then you say something from a powerful position. You act like you're a victim. It's ridiculous. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Birthright, the battle's still going on. We're going to talk about it. Nancy Pelosi makes an odd, weird, and uncomfortable appearance on Stephen Colbert, not on top of him, although that would be hilarious. Oh, kids, we're having fun. More weird movie horror facts as well. Tweet at us at Chad Benson Show. It is the Halloween Ghoul edition of the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Vowing to single-handedly end the Constitution's guarantee of citizenship to anyone born in the United States.
You can definitely do it with an act of Congress, but now they're saying I can do it just with an executive order. It's in the process. It'll happen.
But the top Republican in Congress said the president simply does not have that power.
Well, you obviously cannot do that. You cannot end birthright citizenship with an executive order. We didn't like it when Obama tried changing immigration laws via executive action. I think in this case the 14th Amendment's pretty clear.
As the election approaches, the president focused on the caravan of migrants fleeing poverty and violence in Central America and traveling by foot to the U.S.-Mexico border.
So this caused a big stink, as it tends to do whenever you talk about this. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. They're focusing on words. Again, words matter. I talk about that big time when it comes to certain things. It's about the language.
He and a very small minority of others are reading into the language from the Constitution, where it talks about all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof.
So what that means, essentially, the way when they originally put that in there, diplomats. So you're a diplomat, your kid's born here, you're not a subject of the United States, so that's a no-go. Native Americans was another one. Didn't want to. They wanted to be part of the Native American whatever their nation was, that's what they wanted to be a part of. And they set it up so it wouldn't infringe upon them. People that were coming here fighting against the United States, potentially, and their wives, they were not subject to the United States. They were the exact opposite. They wanted to fight against us, right? The War of 1812, things of that nature. So, and then when it got, so they started adding things, and then a lot of it goes back to, well, certain cases. And that's what they're going to look at if and when, because it's all about going to the court. That's what it is. He feels he has the court. He feels he has the opportunity to do this. And he knows that everything is going to be eventually adjudicated in the Supreme Court, a lot of these big things that he wants to do, and the cases they're going to be looking at.
In the 1985 case, there was a woman in the country unlawfully, had a baby. A unanimous Supreme Court said that child is a citizen of the United States. If the president tries to sign an executive order undoing that aspect of the Constitution, he will almost certainly lose in the Supreme Court and the lower courts as well. But it looks like it's much more right now about politics than the Constitution.
Yeah, and then some people, though, some scholars I've seen talk about and say, look, the 1982 case, which is the Texas case, I think it was Plow versus Doe, if I'm right, that kids that are here illegally should be allowed to go to school, and out of that bore if they were born here, if they weren't born here, all of those things. And you can go look at numbers and remember, there's a lot of numbers that when you break things down, you're like, oh, I didn't realize that. That 1 in 10 kids being born here are born here to people that are legal. Wait, what? Or foreign born, whether it be residents or people that are here illegal. Then the cost of bringing people over here because they get a sponsor, and that kid will also have the opportunity to get things like benefits. So there's a lot of things that go into this, and I understand that. My issue is we never can have a conversation about it, right? We can't, because we've allowed social justice warriors, we've allowed the flea that wags the tail that wags the dog to essentially be the moral guidepost on everything as far as they're concerned. So you have to feel like you have to always be on a certain side, and that anybody at any given time can shut you down by calling you a xenophobe, Islamophobe, a racist, whatever it is. And then everybody's going to go, oh, yeah, you're wrong. You're on the wrong side. And you can't even sit down and talk about stuff. And I find that to be ridiculous. Let's get the data out there. Let's look at what does it cost if we want to go in that direction. Let's look at it and say, this was put in a while ago. Things have changed. We've moved forward. How did they really meet it? Can this is what the whole thing is with the Constitution. Everybody's trying to figure out. We're trying to go, it was, what did they mean? And that's why Trump, I think, thinks, well, I got 5 people on my side now. And back in 85, it was a very left-leaning court. It's not that way anymore. I may have a shot here. And he's got scholars in there and legal people going, you may have a shot here. You do, because when they put this in, those words right there, right, subject to jurisdiction, they were talking about things like diplomats and things like that. So you may have a shot here. And remember, the court's on your side. And, ooh, of course. And the caravan was always going to be, in a midterm year, an opportunity to run and to get people energized, just like Kavanaugh was for both sides. It's always going to happen. The opportunity was there. They're going to take it. That's politics, right? I mean, isn't that kind of like the political world that we live in now? Something happens. Hey, quick, let's go out here and do this. Oh, my goodness me. Something happened. Quick, somebody run over and let's jump on this, and we'll rock and roll, and we'll raise some money, and we'll get people excited and blah, 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 blah. And now you've got a fight between Donald Trump and Paul Ryan.
Well, you obviously cannot do that. You cannot end birthright citizenship with an executive order. We didn't like it when Obama tried changing immigration laws via executive action, and I think in this case the 14th Amendment's pretty clear.
Yeah, I didn't like it, and I don't like that Trump's doing it. It's frustrating. I said yesterday, we can't. You can't say that you were pissed off at Obama, and at the same time, you can't go out there and say, "Oh, Trump's doing the right thing." Don't be a hypocrite, right? Don't be. Doesn't mean we can't have a conversation about things, and I think it's fair to have a conversation. Doesn't mean anything's going to get done, because if we know anything about politics, nothing gets done. But in this day and age, we just want to shut down any conversation, no matter what it is, right? Well, let's just kill it because it could hurt somebody's feelings. But we've got facts. Those facts are lies based on misogyny, based on patriarchy, based on racism. Those facts are all skewed based on that. So you're just like, I can't win for losing. You can't lose for winning. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Nobody's interested in having conversations anymore because there's so much money in anger. There is. And I love the fact that the left wants to act as if, well, we would never say anything like this. 1993, there was a guy named Harry Reid. Anybody ever heard of old Harry there? Dirty Harry Reid? Let's hear what he has to say. Remember, he's growing and he's much kinder and gentler now. But and he's no longer a part of anything. But let's just hearken back to the days of yore.
If making it easy to be an illegal alien isn't enough, how about offering a reward for being an illegal immigrant? No sane country would do that. Guess again. If you break our laws by entering this country without permission and give birth to a child, we reward that child with U.S. citizenship and guarantee of full access to all public and social services this society provides. And that's a lot of services. Is it any wonder that 2/3 of the babies born at taxpayer expense at county-run hospitals in Los Angeles are born to illegal alien mothers?
Wow. Now, if you didn't know that was Harry Reid, you'd say that guy's the most racist person in the world. But because it's the left side of the aisle, and they'll say, well, that was 1993, 15 years later, we understand so much, we get it. We get it. Well, because they become a political force. And because they become a political force, you want to be on the right side of that. Plus, we live in a world now where social media and feelings, social justice warriors, and the moral mountain people who sum it up there, their voice matters far more, and their bullying scares a lot of people. And it's ridiculous. It really, really is that we're in this situation. Speaking of scary on this Halloween day,
taking babies out of the arms of their moms, putting them in cages, warning about a caravan that's over 1,000 miles away, putting troops on the border that are more people than will ever reach our border in the caravan. And it's just another in that. But it isn't, what he was saying today has no relationship to what his authority is. This is what this election is about, checks and balances, a check and balance on this president.
She was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs last night. Watching her, it was hilarious. It was. And I think a lot of Dems were upset because, first of all, completely made Colbert, uncomfortable.
I would have said if the election were held today, we would win.
What happened today that changed that?
What now I'm saying is we will win. We will win.
Please don't say that.
We will win.
Please don't say that. Do you want to say that on Hillary's fireworks barge that she canceled? please don't say that.
We will win. We own the ground. We're not yielding one grain of sand.
And how long are the curtains that you're measuring right now?
No, we're not measuring. We're just walking precincts. And if everyone votes, we'll have even a bigger victory. But Democrats will carry the House. If we have a bigger victory, the Senate, governorships, it's going to be a great night for America.
Just hilarious listening to her. Just, it's going to be a great night for America. And just his uncomfortable. No, don't say that. Don't.
Lowering the temperature of political discourse. Have you seen evidence of that?
Well, I think when we win, you will see evidence of that. Because when we do win, we will have, as we open the new Congress, we will honor the vows of our founders. E pluribus unum, from many one. Couldn't imagine how many.
I like that.
Yeah. I think she's a wee bit delusional. I still think they're going to have a chance. I think they're going to take the House, but I don't think it's going to be as big as people think. I think the Senate will go to the Republicans, and that's the way I feel. It could be wrong, right? I could be wrong. I could be right, as the great Johnny Lydon, a.k.a. Johnny Rodden, PIL, Public Injunction Limited, said. It's possible that the Republicans hold it. And here's my thing. If the Republicans hold it, and you wake up on Wednesday morning and you're a Democrat, and you thought 2016 was a kick in the... This right here, which you expect to win just for showing up because that's what America's always done, which is check power. What does that say? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Casper is where... No, it's not a friendly ghost. Well, Casper was a friendly ghost, Chad. I understand that. Well, then what are you saying? I'm saying it's a great mattress. Oh, do tell. I do like mattresses. Casper is an awesome mattress. And for a person who's put himself through hell playing sports at high levels, my knees are destroyed. My back, I remember the day my back really was a mess. I think I was 18 years old. I was playing, I was on trial at Bristol Rovers. I was playing at the Cadbury Egg Factory on trial, and I hit a bicycle kick that was amazing. And I came down on my back, and my back was never the same. My back hurts when I sleep elsewhere. When I sleep on my Casper, it's awesome. It really is. It is incredible. You will feel amazing. You will sleep cooler. They send it to you in a box that is very Houdini-esque, and you open it up, and you're like, ta-da! And there's a mattress. It is awesome. It is. 35,000 five-star reviews across all platforms of Casper, Google, and Amazon. And now you can try it in your home for 100 nights risk-free. Go to Casper.com. When you do, use that code there, CHAD. It's going to save you $50 or the purchase of selected mattresses. That's Casper.com, code CHAD. Casper.com, code CHAD. Terms and conditions apply. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. CHADBENSON. Some more horror movie trivia and goofiness that will get stuck in your head. I like doing that on this Halloween edition of the Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
This study, published in the journal The Lancet, concerns body mass index, or BMI. And the short story is you don't want your BMI to be too high or too low. Too high means you're overweight. Too low means you're underweight. And in either case, researchers in London say you're more likely to die. Being overweight is linked to most cancers, heart disease, and other issues. Being underweight is linked to dementia, Alzheimer's, and suicide, as well as heart disease. But diet and exercise factor into this. The ideal range for BMI is from 21 to 25. It's easy to calculate yours online.
Oh, my God. So wait a minute. Now being too skinny is dangerous. I just can't win. That's what's deadly in this country. You're either too nutritionally overachieving, people of size, right? Or you're underachieving, right? What do they call with nutrient deficient or whatever it is? Food deficient? So stupid. Used to be just you're poor and hungry. Like that used to be, there's too many labels. That's just insane. Oh, just trying to find that sweet spot of my BMI according to whatever. Just insane. So we talk about horror movies, some of the great horror movies of all time. Here's one. Here's something goofy. Do you know what the most profitable movie is in the history of movies? Anyone? I bet people don't even know this. Producer Phil, do you have any idea what the most profitable movie is?
No clue.
That would be Paranormal Activity. The movie itself cost $15,000 to make. It grossed $248 million worldwide, comes out to 414,233% return on investment after grossing $65 million. It was calculated that Paranormal Activity made 433,900% return on investment. Now, that is insane. So if you do the entire math of the total of everything from domestic and worldwide gross, It did over 1,286,566% return on investment. Not bad. Not bad indeed. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. For all of the horror movies, The Exorcist is my number one favorite movie, and it's creepy and crazy. The one that maybe had the most impact, I think, on everybody's lives, I don't know if you count it as a horror movie, but I always have, is, well, this one.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws.
I love Jaws. Here's some silly facts about Jaws. There wasn't a lot of Jaws in Jaws, actually. Hour and 21 minutes before you finally get a full shot of the shark. Yeah, did you realize that? Originally, it finished like Moby Dick. But they said they needed something big, something bold. So they decided to finish it in a different way and blow it up because they wanted excitement for the audience. It's an amazing movie. I still watch it. And even as a kid, when I was in a pool, you'd think of Jaws and you're like, ah! 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Hey, you guys be nice to each other. Have an amazing, happy Halloween. Take the kids out trick-or-treating. Watch out for kids trick-or-treating. And as always, night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.